Look at you.
Yeah, look at you. Those are great photos.
So they and good times. So everyone's. I saw you doing a bunch of interviews. Everyone's, oh, how are you and all that.
Yeah.
I'll start it different.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
On one of the greatest run. This is, I'm being serious, in television history, because all the people who do these things for a living, we could, you know, these shows can get canceled anytime. This show's going on 20+ years.
Yeah, 4,953 episodes. Wikipedia tells us that that is more than the Oprah Winfrey Show, that is more than Jerry Springer Show, that is more than the David Letterman.
How about that?
So I feel that pride, and people ask me, as someone who watches sports every day and feels the emotions of sports. They're viewing it like the end of a athlete's career or the end of a season. I don't feel that way.
How do you feel?
I feel like I'm walking on air and we're going out the way we're supposed to be going out. That doesn't mean the show couldn't go on and has gas in the tank. I believe that in my being.
Yeah.
But I do know it's not for everybody that you get to say goodbye on your own terms, and we've been able to do that over the last couple of weeks.
What have you learned from that? I mean, it's interesting because there's a bunch of jerks in our business, but there's also a lot of great people. And a lot of people are coming out and
I appreciate
a lot of nice things about it.
It's lessons in gratitude.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel that personally. When we were together at Fordham University, we interviewed Bob Ryan on One-on-One.
Yeah.
And Frank Isola on One-on-One. These are legends of the industry, Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
I work with them every day for the last 23 years. The first time I met them was doing college radio. And I am able to tell them the impact they had on my life. But then I also feel the connection with an audience.
Because you built up, it's true, you built up a bunch of people that became stars that came on your show the first time, right?
Which
is cool.
That's a very nice compliment, and I will accept it.
Sure.
But I believe sports broadcasting had some room to grow in the 23 years, as every industry did, in the 23 years that Around the Horn has been on. And it has been wonderful to welcome in younger voices. I mean, we've seen the boom and the growth of women's sports could be seen from miles away. Well, you need to have people who can cover those games and talk about those games too. So that was only natural. I wanted to have the sports conversations that pulled the curtain back a little bit and had journalists on who would provide commentary, but also have real moments.
You've probably been thinking about that. I know you've been thinking about this. You know, the business that we're in now, cable is the thing. You know, right now we're on cable TV, so it's all kind of changing. It's happening really fast. Like, what's going to happen next? Because you got to be thinking about what you're doing next.
Well, I think sports, you know, games are the most important part of the sports industry, of course. Right. So that is the last bastion of live TV is the sporting event. That's wonderful. But I do believe there are places now. The digital landscape allows for. When you and I were dreaming of being a sportscaster growing up, did you have the Fisher-Price microphone that I did?
Yeah, I used to do, and I ended up doing the news. I had an old, it was like Nintendo, it was a video game.
Okay.
Baseball Stars. And I would play the game and turn down the audio and announce the
game. So I did my own version of that.
I had a very exciting social life.
Now you can have your own YouTube page at an incredibly young age and put yourself out there. And by that, I mean to say I have friends in this business who believe sports media is broken. I don't know if I agree with that. I know you can get sports and sports commentary in ways now that are wonderful, in ways that you would dream of.
Right.
And I still believe in the foundation of that. But I know personally for myself, of course, we all believe in storytelling, but I know I will always center feelings because I believe, as you introduced me, that sports is where, in a lot of ways, we learn about feelings.
Yeah.
As young people.
It's a bigger thing. The first thing we ever worked on, you probably remember this, I was telling our guys here, is like this quote-unquote radio documentary about Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
In 1997.
We won awards on that.
So that was, yeah, we did. Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah, right. But the point was, like, we learned about, like, society and, you know, through sports.
So that's another part of sports, and I've been proud and happy to be part of a network that has embraced that through the years. And at this moment, you know, we're going to find places, and sports fans will always find places for that type of, that's what I would call journalism in some way, breaking stories that aren't. And then there's the commentary side of it, which is surely where we were, and the entertainment side, which I love.
The mute, man.
The mute button is a mechanic that should be available. And I worked on another show called Party Interruption that had the corrections segment of the show.
Stat boy, what did we get wrong? We should have had you watch our show today. Tell us what we got.
And I believe that to be still a valuable mechanic, and I would volunteer it for anybody at home who's producing the next show. to have that accountability at the end is a wonderful thing. So for sports writers to be scored and to be silenced, because even though that was the mechanic of the show.
Do you think, so a couple things. So, hey, do you know what you're going to do?
Yes, yes. I've thought about this, and I know I'm going to explain the scoring system of Around the Horn, which has been much debated through the years. There is a reason. Is there a reason why that host is scoring the argument? Well, for me, there was. I was always intentional about that.
What about how you scored? I meant what you're going to do next in your career. But
no, I want to talk about how much fun we're going to have on Friday.
How did you score this? How did you score them? You're going to tell us everybody on Friday
I'm
how
going
it
to
works?
tell everybody on the international audience of ESPN in the 120 countries.
You made it up. That's nonsense.
You're about to find out.
On Friday, you're going to the whole secret.
That I'll be doing. Yeah.
So what are you going to do in your life, though? What are you going to do next?
Oh, I am very much enjoying where I am right now, imagining. You know, so much of what we do in our business was, I love this guy's job. That would be great to do that job. The reality of a landscape now is, I want to invent the next chair I'm going to sit in.
That's cool. So
I want to be in a space where I'm working the biggest games, and I know I will be, working the biggest events and the biggest games, and then I want to have a place, and digital allows it, but a place to test kitchen out, new things. I want to connect, because I think sports, like that emotion I was talking about, the connectivity, what is real, a community of sports fans. I feel like I've had that for 23 years, but I want to reach out and touch people in that way and have debates, go around the horn with your average fans. How great would that be?
You're like a legitimately, optimistic person. I know you've been through a lot in your life, like everybody's through. We all go through things. But you're an optimistic person, and it always struck me. It's always fun. You're infectious. You come in the room, you're like the mayor, everybody's talking to you. That's how you are everywhere. I know that, on and off the air, which is funny. Funny story, you started this building where we're doing.
Yes, this is a full circle moment for me.
Channel 11 in New York's in the same building as us, and you started as like, what were you doing?
I may have written my initials in one of the pilings.
But you were doing research.
I was.
Here's the question, you can explain it, but here's the question. Do you ever think you'd be who you are, you know, like doing this? Or did you think you'd be like a producer? What did you think?
As far back as I can remember, I know I wanted to be a sportscaster. That's 5 years of age. I called the shot. I went to Fordham University, where I met some of the great people in the business and worked with some of the greats of all that time. But the voices I grew up listening to, that's where they went, that's where I went. Maybe there was a time when I said creating my own show would be the avenue I would take, and I got a phone call 7 o'clock on a Sunday night during the Patriots-Panthers Super Bowl in 2004. You know this story, because I reached out to you. And they said they need a fill-in to fill in for this show Around the Horn. That day. It was the day after the Patriots beat the Panthers. It was the day after Janet Jackson had a wardrobe malfunction. That was my first day hosting, really, Around the Horn. So did I know that would happen? No, I did not know that would happen.
And then you never left. You never left.
I wouldn't give up the chair for the first time.
I don't take all my vacation. That's why I...
I'm the same. I was the same ethic until I had children in a way that I needed to be there more.
You're one of the best people in a crazy business. I've always thought that. You want to crumple up paper and throw it?
I want to see your accuracy. I know what my accuracy is. Every day I end the show.
Like this?
Not bad, but you got to hit the lens.
The great Toni Reali. Boom! On it! I'm going short. Thanks, bud. You're one of the greats. Oh, you broke my bracelet! What are you doing?
Oh, my goodness.
What a disaster. What a disaster. You know how much that cost? 10 cents. All right, we'll be back. That was just a way to...
How about us?
It's over. It's over. What a run.
Let me pick up the pieces of our life here.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.